Welcome to Divinely Dosed, a life beyond your drunken dreams, life on purpose and empowered, a spiritually intoxicating space where we let spirit-led people who want more in to live a hot, holy, and whole life. Today on the Divinely Dosed podcast, we're joined by the manifestation queen. Oh my God. Destiny Shekinah, a spiritual mentor and mother of two who helps high achieving women unlock alignment, flow, and abundance with capital EASE ease. In today's episode, high on class, sass, and even higher standards. Are we ready to dip in?
Hello, yes, let's do it.
Oh my gosh, I'm feeling so juicy with you. Destiny and I met Denver this year and immediately have this bestie energy. We spent the whole, 4-5 days. By the time we met, it was like static. It was juicy. It was effortless. And you live that, right? Part of your message is ease, effortlessness. And that's what it felt like in meeting you. Like, of course, this is like the next logical connection or relationship. So I'm so excited to dive in with you because a lot of people, who are in the rebellious but with a cause state where we're rebelling against the norm, whether it's getting sober from drugs and alcohol, whether it's letting go of people pleasing, whether it's recovering from narcissistic relationships, or just wanting a beautiful life. And when we're doing that, sometimes a lot of the listeners I know, and this happens, it comes in waves where, you level up and then there's a stagnation. There's a sticky spot. There's a place where old tapes start to come in and we think, oh, this is my ceiling. Or they think, oh, this is what I deserve, or is it okay to ask for more? So in today's talk, I'm just so excited for you to dive in and share your background and where maybe you had an experience of upper limiting where you were like, oh, I've done pretty well, but I want more. And then how you started to navigate through that and what led you from being who you maybe were into this manifestation queen and taking us through that experience so we can really feel it and start to try it on for ourselves.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you. This is so special and beautiful. I love seeing your face. So yeah, okay. So totally get it. Like where I was even 5 years ago, I think would be unrecognizable to where I am today. If I'm being completely honest, I definitely resonate so much with what you said. Like, we hit that point of that stagnation where we think that we're progressing and like things are unfolding, which they always are in our favor, even if they don't look that way. And then we hit this wall. And so what I've been really, if we want to just dive really deep into this, we can start really deep. The deeper, the better, right?
Yes.
What I've been working on, like specifically now, is essentially it's all part of one breath, I think, going and progressing and then also hitting that wall. They're both as important as the other. So for me, let's say 3 years ago was probably one of the toughest times of my life. And even before that too, like settling just in general areas of relationships, of jobs, in different areas of my life, like where I knew they weren't serving me, but we convinced ourselves that like there's so much good here, or we tried to kind of turn our head and give a blind eye to what doesn't feel good and focus on the good things. And I think that can be found a lot in this like manifestation coaching world too. We always want to focus on the positive. And that's wonderful, right? But at the same time, like we're human. So even in the imperfection of things, like there is so much beauty and power and alchemy, right? So it's really just as important, I think. So let's see here. Well, I think so I hit a wall. I thought that things were progressing like immensely, and they were, right? Like, I believe in the law of exposure, the universal laws, like they're always at play. And I know that I had to be expanded in like really uncomfortable ways to kind of go to that next level. And so that was really happening and just getting into that surrender of it. But let's see. I know that through all of that, I really found more power. Like I faced my fears head on. I found more power. Like I raised the standard and I became, here today to where I can speak and like tell women my story and really help them through my experiences too. Um, so yeah, I think it's really important both sides of it.
Yeah, it's like instead of looking at these moments of challenge, which I think our minds, like as humans, we want to go to, oh my gosh, there's a problem. And then there's like, there's a problem, there's a problem, there's a problem. And then there's almost like this loop of seeing the problem, but wanting to see the positivity. And then it's like, it's just a cycle that starts to repeat. And instead of it being like, oh, I have to stay on this wheel, I can interrupt it with, ooh, what is this showing me that I want? Like, oh, this challenge, you mentioned like a relationship, and I've been in that situation too, where it's like, ooh, this isn't feeling good. Okay, but what is that revealing to me? I want my relationship to feel good. I want it to feel safe. I want it to feel reciprocated. And so it sounds like you had this moment of being like, okay, this isn't working. This is not working, right? This job, this situation, this relationship, the pattern of that. And then you had the bravery and the courage to start to actually ask for what you want and then letting that desire lead to the manifesting, like letting the universe or whatever you want to call it, start to deliver that next step into your life after realizing, ooh, I want this to be different. I want a different job. I want a different situation. So when we look at raising the bar, and I'll just speak briefly on it. Like I remember, so I did my first ever UPW with Tony Robbins. He had this, like, he was like, raise your standards. And I'm like, whatever, it's virtual, but I'm like, ah! And I have like a, dry erase board, which I need another one of those. Actually, I have it. I need to get it out. I had a dry erase board and I had it hung up on my wall and I erased it and I put your standards and I like put lines underneath it. And then the guy that I was dating at the time, he came over, and this was like weeks after UPW, and he sees that written on my board. He sees raise your standards, and he goes, oh, you're raising your standards. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, I guess you're gonna have to get rid of me. And I was like, who? Like, guys, like, he just played all of his cards and he was so honest. And I was like, I didn't even know what to like think about. Like my whole brain was dumbfounded. And that's what happened. So like, let's talk about that. Raising our standards in the bar, despite our current situation, despite the patterns, despite addictions, like addictions to people pleasing, addictions to that high, to that low, despite that lesser than story that we often have. Like I was stunned, I'm like, but I don't want to let you go. Right. I didn't want
Mhm.
to let you go. And I didn't for like 2 more years. So like, well, how do we like help people shortcut that? Because I would have loved to have just left that at that moment, right? How do we break that cycle so we can elevate?
So I think that like really that's interesting that he just came right out and said that to you. It's like he knew he wasn't like being the version of that man that you needed him to be. And we really can get stuck in those cycles. And it's funny because I would keep seeing my relationships and I was like, why are they so similar? Like they, on the outside, physically, like they did not look anything alike at all. Literally on the whole other like side of things, like features just opposites. Um, but it was funny, I would have these really insane similarities and I was like, oh my gosh, like even there one time, my ex's phone password was the same phone password as my other ex. And I was like, what the heck? That's so weird. And I don't know how I found out the password, but it's okay. So I but I was like, it's just really strange. Like they would wear like similar brands and they had similar stories and their demeanors were kind of similar. And I was like, what am I attracting here? It was just a cycle of kind of similarity. But what I say that to mean is it's kind of what we're a frequency match to. And then the second we become the standard, like they can meet us there, you know? And I think even by him saying that, it's like, you know, you started to raise your vibration, started to raise your standard, and eventually he probably fell off because he was just not in alignment with you anymore. And I think that the higher we raise our standard, it's like the more that they realize like, oh shit, I've got to get my stuff together here if I want to stay with her, because she's either one, seeing me for who I am and I'm just not worthy and they want to self-sabotage, or they're like, okay, I have to expand and I have to grow with her, but that feels really uncomfortable and I'm not willing to do that. And then they like convince themselves, you know, why they should stay comfortable, why they should why they should stay the same. And then we can do the same thing too. Like we can just like settle and say like, this relationship, we love each other. Like this is so good. Like I love him. We have a connection. We have this chemistry, and we can convince ourselves of stuff too. But then it's like, are we really being real with ourselves, or are we selling ourselves short in that standard, you know? So what I found to be true is just to like really become that standard and like set like all the cards on the table, like you said, like from the beginning. And even like you don't even really have to say these things. Like I think it's something that's recognized without even like a spoken word. It can be just like they kind of recognize it. Like once you're just there. I don't know. It's like a frequency energetic thing, I guess. Um in my opinion.
I love this. Yeah,
Like it
raising.
makes them have to meet themselves almost to a depth that they are like, oh shit, like am I ready for this, or am I gonna let her go? You know?
Yes. And I love that. What would you speak to? So, like, you're going through this, right? And this could be with anything. Like, I remember too, when I was needing to move out of my home last year, it was my home for like 4 years. I got sober there. It was my dream. Like, I literally put it on my vision board and I didn't even know until I moved in. Like, I put it on my vision board. It was a white house with a yellow door. And then I moved into this place and I like brought out my vision board and I'm like, holy freaking A, there's a white house with a yellow door on my vision board, and I'm living in a white house with a yellow door. So anyway, so there's this whole attachment I had to it, but I needed to move out of it. It wasn't able to grow. It wasn't able to expand with me. I needed something more. There was like mold situations, like, no, this is not the vibe. But still, I was wanting to like cling to it because of all of these proofs of like, I manifested it though. So shouldn't I just stay in it? Like, and it was like, no, there's like a calling for, they're almost like when we start to expand, there's a calling for us to grow. There's a calling for us to leave some things behind. There's a calling for us to say, you know, and how do we continually let ourselves, like, let yourself raise to that new vibration? How do you let yourself let those things go? How do you let yourself let those things? Because it's like you could expand, but then we could also want to shrink and contract back again.
For me, it was the point where I was like, I just had to get like raw and real with myself. I remember just being like, okay, so yeah, like how am I feeling in this situation? And my body like was to the point where during the specific time, like it was like rejecting, it was in flight or fight, and it was kind of manifesting physically in my body. And it got to the point where, you know, I had to really be real with myself, but I was also like really deep into my manifestation stuff. So I was meditating every single day. I was going to the gym, like nothing was in the way of that. Bombs were going off in my foresight, but like my vision was so focused in tunnel vision on the vortex. I was like, I'm in the vortex, I'm in the vortex, like all the good, that's what Abraham Hicks calls it. And I was like, my inner voice sounded like Abraham Hicks. It didn't even sound like myself anymore because I was listening to her so much. And so I just had to get real though. And I was like, okay. And the thing is, I kept raising to the point where nothing bothered me. And the other things just were falling off. Like, it's almost like the more I was going up, the more bombs were kind of going off around me, and to the point where it was undeniable, where I was like, okay, I have to move out. I have to move here. It's not possible for me to stay here any longer, but it just kept getting clearer and clearer and clearer. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, like on every aspect. To where it couldn't really ignore it anymore. Although I didn't react and I didn't, I was like very deliberately and intentionally focusing on my health and my frequency in my body, but I could not ignore, what wasn't for me anymore. So it was kind of like I was being pushed off the ledge, like, no, it's time to move, it's time to go, like it's time to jump. And I hope this is making sense. Okay.
So juicy. I'm like eating it up.
Okay. Yeah, so that's like really what was like true for me. And I was like, okay, I can't ignore this. And it wasn't that I was ignoring it, I just didn't want to divulge in it. Like I didn't want to amplify it by any means. I was like, you know what? Like if this is meant for me, this situation will raise to my standard or it won't, and then it'll just be clearer and clearer. And that's really what happened. So
I love this. This is like where we're getting into the juice, because it is like that. Like when we're faced with these things, it's like, yeah, there's going to be like this voice, because there's a pattern, right? That's going to say, but then when you said no, I'm going to get tunnel vision. I'm going to get so crazy, like almost delusionally obsessed with filling your brain with new thoughts. You're listening to Abraham Hicks, you're putting yourself first, which is a very like black cat strategy, right? Like I don't chase, I attract. By not chasing, that means I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to put my health, my wellness, how I feel. And so you started getting like obsessed, right? Crazy obsessed with like this new path, even though it's like you didn't see the result, you didn't see with a crystal ball, like there was no, oh, this is going to be the outcome. You just followed that tunnel vision. And that's, I think, the big message for other people is to find a voice, a mentor, mantras, affirmation, something that you can literally plug, play, and get in that energy of, and then let your vortex spiral from there. Like, and that's what I really heard with what you were saying is like, be deliberate, focus, and do those things that follow that, like do the actions that follow that deliberate focus that feels good, that feels easier than what the bombs going off would be, right? Like you stopped taking the bait of the bomb and started taking the bait of feeling at ease, like feeling good, and that like led you.
right, because you know what? Like what else is the other option? Like what was the other option? It was drowned in my sorrows and like I mean, it was hard too. There was nothing like easy about it, but like I didn't want to just like completely drown in my sorrows, So I was like, okay, like if it's not for me, it's not for me. And it's unfolding the way it's supposed to in my favor always. And that was just my second nature. It became my second nature. And it was a gift. It truly was a gift in disguise, and it's still like unfolding every day. So it's fun to have this perspective. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It is. And I love Abraham Hicks too. So I definitely hear you on that. And is this something, so you're creating like your manifestation queen, is there things that people that you're making yourself, like affirmations or meditations, or how are you guiding people into that in your work?
Yeah, so we have the High Vibe Society, which is my experience like in my container for longer periods of time. I'm doing my in-person the Shekinah experience, a 2-day immersive experience. So that is happening in January 2026 to kind of kick off the year. But yeah, I definitely lead them through like guided meditations. I just did my 21-day challenge. So we were putting on our crowns, and the crown really represents that infinite love that we always have access to. No matter where we are, no matter what we're going through, like we can completely like center and access that infinite perfect love, which is within us, even through any moment. And just building our toolbox with all the things. So whatever it looks like for you. And then, you know, mine has the crown. It has our energetic harmonization tools that I use and our affirmations and lots of cash and gold and diamonds.
Yes.
So we fill it with whatever it looks like for us, what serves us, like however that looks for us, because I think in our life and in our work, our relationships, like we have to be so raw and real with what really is important to us, and what we really, really desire, because our desires are that like North Star, that like navigation system. And then the contrast of what we don't desire or what we experience that is undesirable, that is really like puts in perspective like what really means a lot to us and what we really do desire. So it's like, just like I said, it's really important to have both. Like they're just as important. So
Getting really clear on what you want. You're saying to like get
yeah, and
real.
then when we go through the things that we don't want, it makes the things we do want even more clear. Like we thought we wanted something, and then that undesirable experience will really put in more clarity of our perspective of like what we actually do desire.
Mm, yes. And that kind of goes back to like what I was saying. I was like, help it. Like, I had this conversation with this beautiful woman. She's like, I think she's like in her 70s, and she was like, we were talking about words. And I was saying, I need. And she goes, hold on. Like, let's take a vacuum and like vacuum that word out of your vocabulary. You do not need, you want. I was like,
Mhm.
ooh, how juicy is that, right? Like remembering like, oh, these things in our desire pot, it's like you said, let's put gold and money and crowns. But then I immediately felt like, ooh, I want that. I like that. I
Mhm.
enjoy that versus like, I need that. Right. And then you're helping people to to release that, to release this kind of like resistance to the thing and get clear on it and allowing it to feel good. Like, ooh, I want this. I desire this. And it feels good. It's a North Star and it's guiding me. And I'm like, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, it's so important to just know. I think like my second nature has been, everything is always working in my favor. Like that energy that we're working with, that we're co-creating with, that the universe, God, source, whatever it is, it wants all of these things for us. Like these things are placed in our heart because they're meant to be ours. They're placed there by that energy that we're meant to co-create with, you know? So,
My gosh, I have so many things I want to talk about. Like, something just popped up into my mind, which is like, God, like let's claim that right now. And even if
mhm.
people, I want to get a little edgy with this because I love like God is my guidance. God is what I rely on, right? On this daily basis for life. And so how does this relationship with manifestation and also a reliance on God, how do those combine and how do they actually work together?
Yeah. So I think we are co-creating with God at all times. And, sometimes I call it the universe because God is the king of the universe. So I think, my terms can switch from the universe and God. Essentially, it doesn't matter whether I think they're the same thing. I think, God is the creator of the universe. Um, so like I said, when we're co-creating, it's that intimacy with God is how I view it. And this is all stuff that I've been really digging deep into like the past 2 weeks. it's this intimacy, like how we're born, right? Like the creation of life, it all flows through intimacy. And that's really the life force. And so when we're creating and co-creating, it's this intimate relationship that is really perfect and infinite love and abundance and perfect health and daily miracles. Like it's all of that in this intimacy of this relationship that you have to, or I believe that you would have to kind of work within. Like it's this intimacy that's not like, we have to kind of work on it. It takes, like relationships, like we have to devote ourselves to that relationship. And it's like between you and God. And it's like a very intimate, love making kind of relationship, is how I view it when we're co creating. No one knows what you're thinking in your mind, no one knows what you're like affirming and, doing behind closed doors. Like that's like that intimacy that does come into fruition, that does materialize and manifest.
Yeah, I felt like we just dropped from the head and we went from the head into the heart, like the heart of manifesting, which is this relationship that we're building, this intimate and direct line to creation and how it is. I find too that there are these things that we can do, but then there's this personalized relationship, that
Mm-hmm.
we get to feel. And for everyone, it's so different. And then allowing ourselves, you're saying like explore this. You're saying like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah, there's this deep relationship that I get to explore. And then it becomes a devotion. And I love that you're making like manifestation not just as this like, I want this, I need this, like give it to me now, but like this, ooh, no, it's this deeply curated devotion that I get to pick up and choose to give myself to every single day. And how that's actually very beautiful. And that's where like that class comes in. It's like there's a classiness to this. There's a, not just like a fast boom bang beat, like give it, but there's this cultivation of I want to say intimacy, but I also want to say like see me in it all, hold me in it all. And you know and maybe you can speak to that, like how is this classy, like how is this manifestation process of being in the queen of manifestation, how is it classy versus this like drive through fast service, like
Quickie. Like a quickie.
yeah.
So I can definitely talk to this. I think it's so funny how you put it. It's like it is. We're like in this fast-paced world and we're always like, I want it now. This is my world. I want it now. Um I think when we're in this relaxed knowing, like we do all of these things so that we can become in this embodied relaxation. And I think that's what really class and grace is. It's like that relaxation where we know things are working in our favor and where we know we're fully supported, we're abundant focused. There's no scarcity, there's no scarcity of time, there's no scarcity of resources, of money, of anything. And we get to do these things so that we can be in that relaxation and that class and that standard, I guess it would be considered, right? Like we're in a standard of relaxation. Like that is my standard. Like I don't want anything I don't want to give anything the power to take me out of that. And even if things are not working in our favor, like we get to put that crown on our head. We get to recenter ourselves and to hold our chin up high and access that queen energy or that love energy or God energy. And it's like we get to do those things. We get to choose to do those things. There's no lack or rush for anything else. It's always unfolding in our favor. And that's what grace and class, I think, is, in my opinion.
I love it. I get this vision. So when Destiny and I were in Denver, and after one of the events of the day, we ended up going to Capital Grill, right? And Capital
Yeah.
Grill is, I mean, it's a fine dining restaurant, right?
Oh
And so
yeah.
I'm wanting to relay all of this back because like that's like a classy moment. Like it's a classy restaurant, right? Like you're going for the experience. You're going for the conversations. You
We
see
went in our black truck, right? We got our black truck
black
driver who dropped us off
like at the door. We're in
at
like,
the
yeah,
door.
like a souped up SUV. You know, there's candy in the car. Everything is like, so it's classed up, right? It's like we're elevated. We're living in this state of, I'm not looking at like, oh, when are we going to be dropped off and can we get in for a reservation? We were just in this state of, oh, Destiny suggested to go here. We're going to go here. We're going to be escorted there. We're making these new relationships. And it's like, it became about the journey, right? Less about, I need this burger. I need it now. And I need it on my stomach as fast as I can for as cheap as I can, which is, there's nothing wrong with that because there's always a time and a place for that. And sometimes that's fun. It's fun to manifest that way. But if we look at like, this true cultivated relationship that you're talking about, but like an intimate relationship with God, co-creative energy. It's like, okay, when we sat down for dinner, we're having these conversations, we're creating content around the table, you know, and we're being served as it's being served. You know, we're eating delicious things. And I think like that really paints that picture of a classy experience, you know, where we're slowing down, where we're getting to know one another, where, you know, things are being delivered on the time they're going to be delivered. And then we're enjoying them when they're delivered. Like when the oysters and the shrimp came out, like I'm so glad that that came out before the salad. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it all, but I didn't want it all at the same time. And there's a class to that. There's a class to being kind of courted by life, courted by divine, courted by God. And I think that's something that you do so naturally and so well.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. That was so much fun. We and we had that choice, right? Like we decided, okay, where are we going? Right? Like it's as simple as that. Like where are we going? Oh, what are we ordering on the menu? Okay, and it's delivered. It's we go where we decide we're going and then we order off the menu and we get what we ordered. Like that's so, resonant with everything that manifestation is. And yeah, we had so much fun. We didn't have a reservation either. I don't think. We just kind of walked in. We were all like, should we call? Should we make a reservation? I'm like, no. No, let's just show up. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm just going to show up for, I'm going to show up and then I'm going to like turn over the results over to God, over universe, you know, like I'm going to.
And do you remember afterwards there was he playing the guitar? He was the live guitar. He was on the acoustic guitar and we just like it was so perfect. I was like, "Oh my gosh, we loved it." It was like what? Red Hot Chili Peppers he was playing and we were going to go home, but then we're like, "Let's just go walk like a few steps that way." And we did and it was like the best little moment ever. And then we went home and it was fun. It was just perfect.
Yeah, it's like that's getting in the stream, right? The stream of okay, show me how good it gets. Okay, where would you have me be next? Where would you have me go to? Like the manifesting of that. It's like we couldn't have orchestrated it all, but it was orchestrated for us because like we were in this state like of allowance, of enjoyment. And I think like, you know, when you're talking about all this manifesting and really like raising your vibration, it's doing that, right? It's doing those things, saying, ooh, I don't have to have it all figured out. I'm going to let myself be surprised. I'm going to let myself say what I want. And then, ooh, we'll see how it comes to pass.
And that's the energy that we're working with. Like we're working with that energy that's consistently rearranging things in our favor, you know?
Mm,
Even if it doesn't always look that way, like even if it doesn't, all we have to do is like be. Like we just because we're simply being, like we have access to this. And I think it's always at play, in my opinion, is what I'm finding now. Like God is this perfect love. And I don't think that we're ever like broken, forgotten, punished. Like I think that it's this perfect, like fatherly love that is always supporting us and always working in our favor, even in the imperfection of things, because, you know, we are human and like we make mistakes, you know? And so I choose to be in the vortex. I choose to be in that flow, and I choose to kind of have that tunnel vision on. But some days, like, we get out of it. Some days we just want to take a break and we want to, like, you know, put on some sad music and cry our eyes out. Like, that's fine too. It doesn't mean that like our whole world is going to come crashing down. You know, we get to do both of these things because we have that energy, like, always at play, and support and love, like, no matter what. And I feel like that's what's most important for my standards and for my relationships. Like, I want someone that will love me despite, you know, if we don't look pretty that day, or if I don't look perfect that day, and, you know, if the house isn't perfect, like, I still want that love and that understanding and that grace no matter what. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting
That's
clear.
really
I
my
love what
thing.
I love what you said about consistently arranging things in our favor, and that it doesn't mean that we don't get to have sad girl days. I just did a class on hopelessly happy, which is like the hopeless romantic of happiness, meaning like we get kind of emo sad girl, and then that part's okay too. And I'm going to romanticize that until my love of joy comes and returns again and sweeps me off my feet. But like it's all this like cycle, right? It's like when it comes, I'm going to let myself feel it. And then when it goes, I'm going to let myself let it go. And that's all part of it. It's like emotions are in motion.
I think I think Taylor's one of her new quotes of Taylor Swift's new album. It was like, "We're only starving until we're not," and I was like,
Ah,
"Oh my gosh,
I just got the chills. Ah.
this is genius!" It's like we're only single until we're not. We're only sad until we're not. We're only, you know, whatever. And I'm like, "Oh my god, that's like the most genius lyric of her whole album."
Ah, that's so good. I got like literal chills. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I really see you as like the like a lifestyle. There's this really amazing course one of my friends did at like an event I had at my home, and she like give like everyone is like a certain type of brand, and like I see it as like a lifestyle brand. So I want to give the listener like take us through your day. Like, okay, you have a total manifestation, ultimate manifestation day. What does that look like from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep? And like you can include like your habits, your rituals, even like the tasks that you are doing throughout your day. And this could be appointments that you like schedule for yourself, from beauty to self-care. Like what does all that look like? Like take us through your day.
So I have to move in the morning. So I have two children. I'm a single mom. So I have a full-time nanny, but I drive the kids everywhere. I don't like my nanny driving my kids anywhere. So that responsibility, like the mornings are, you know, I wake up, I definitely do some breath work before I like literally move out of my bed, because that is like the only window that I have very in the morning. So I'll like place my hand on my heart, I take some deep breaths, I say like I'm so excited and eager to jump into whatever this day is planned for me, and I wake up. If I have time, I will meditate some more in the morning, and then get the kids ready for school, have my coffee, make their breakfast, all that stuff. Um, I feel like my routine really starts after they're both at school. Then I'm like, okay. So I go to the gym, I do the Stairmaster for at least like 20 minutes. Then I do some weightlifting, or I do like a Pilates class. I am not very regimented, I have to say. Every day looks kind of different. So if I feel like going on a nature walk, I love being like in the forest. Like there's these nature trails, and I love being in the nature. So as much as I love the gym, like I do sometimes crave to just be outside and to like in that forest. Like I want to hear those buzzing of the whatever those bugs are, I don't know. And so I will do one of the, you know, go to the beach, I'll go to the nature walk that I do, or the gym, one of three. And then I love the sauna, so I'll like meditate more in the sauna, go home, shower, do my hair, my makeup. I will definitely get like a massage in between, meet someone for lunch. I live like 30 minutes from Palm Beach Island, which is my favorite. So if I'm really Um, I'll go to lunch there. They have like the most luxurious and wonderful, like delicious French cuisine restaurants there that I'm obsessed with. I love French cuisine. So I'll do that, shop, pick up the kids from school. And but I typically like on my more like free days, I would definitely go to like the Boca Resort. I love to do the beach, the pool. Like we're in South Florida. That's really what we have here. Mocktails and I love caviar. So any excuse I have, like I have a jar in my fridge waiting for like a celebratory moment, like at all times. Um, what else? Yeah, I even love like a rainy day. So I'll even do like if it's raining, I'll open my window that's right next to my bathtub and I put like rose petals in there, light a candle, and just like I love that after rain energy. Any chance I can, I open the windows, listen to the rain, and I try to meditate as much as I can. So it usually looks like around 15 to 30 minutes a day is what I seem to do, but if I could, I would meditate like 3 hours a day.
Just silent meditation or guided meditation or
Silent meditation. Sometimes I'll do a frequency song, like, I have a few tracks, but no talking. Typically, it's very, just audio or silent.
mm, I like
Mhm.
that. And then when you go to sleep, what is like, so you put the kids down, like how does that work at the very
Mhm.
end? Is there,
Yeah, so the kids, my life really revolves around my kids. I'm, like, full time, like, always with them, so they're always surrounding me, like, I'm total mom mode. I have a 3-year-old, so he's, like, either breastfeeding or, like, you know, all, like, sprawled out on top of me. But then once I get them in bed, I'll have some tea. I will work on some stuff on my computer. I love incense. I have these beautiful Japanese incense. I'll have to get you a box. They're my favorite. I don't know if you use incense, but
yes, I do. I just
they are called Fortune. So,
ooh,
yes,
intense.
and they're like a non it's called non-smoke, but there's definitely some smoke that comes off of them, but they're like this big. They're kind of short, and it's just the most magnificent smell. It's so beautiful. And yeah, so I'll just, have some tea, relax, journal, work on some stuff, and meditate some more, and then get ready for bed. I love my red light therapy stuff. I do constant like microneedling treatments and
At home, like you
lasers. No, I go to a spa in Boca. She's incredible. She's like the top provider, like 1% provider for Morpheus and stuff like that. And I have to get a massage like once a week at least. And then I've been really into the fascia release like tools. So I have like 2 of those in my shower and I really like do them all throughout my body and it's like good lymphatic drainage and it's good for the nervous system. I take a ton of supplements. I probably own the entire vitamin shop store. So I'm constantly taking like ashwagandha, my multivitamins that have like copper in them and like all that stuff. So,
and then
um,
you love the little waters, the
oh my
minerals.
gosh, the Quinton water, salt water, yeah, isotonics. You would think I own that company. I rave about them and I have no correlation with them at all, but everyone that comes to my house leaves with a box of that salt water. It's the best. Changed my life. I love that water so much. Um, the best ever for just like full replenishment and to get your body into that like harmonization and replenishment. Like it has every mineral I think that we need from the seawater. And there's like some sort of plankton in the ocean that they get it from. I don't know, but it's so good.
Oh, I love your
So
routine. Did everyone, I'm talking to the audience right now because did everyone just like go through that day and just feel like, yes, I feel rich. Yes, I feel relaxed. Yes, I feel fed and full, both in my tummy, but also in your mind and also in the love relationships with your children. Like everything was like a touchstone that we could feel, that we could, oh wow, that's delicious. You know, that's a
Oh,
delicious day. Right.
yes. Um, what else? I love like fresh flowers too. So there's a flower truck I live kind of west. And there's this beautiful flower truck that like is on my street kind of like on my way home, and she'll just get these beautiful like tropical and exotic arrangements. So that's really fun, and I always love to have I do like 3 fresh bouquets around the house at all times. Like I love a fresh flower, roses, and all of
And all of this, you know, and this is something I love. So I love Tony Robbins, but like he brought in like he always brings in Sage, his wife, and she talks. So he's all very much like the strategy and the mindset and the physiological state, and then she comes in and she talks about environment. You know, she talks about lighting the incense, like intentionality in the home. She talks about, you know, beauty, and that's like something that I really feel very strongly from you, and that's something that is important in our manifestation journey, right? Is to have these moments of ritual and intention, because I notice me, I can get sucked into the very masculine energy of do, like for the doing's sake, that sometimes it hijacks that relaxation and the nervous system allowance, you know, that is so important for those riches to be delivered, for that sense of ease to be felt in our body. And it's like those things. Oh my gosh, there's this quote. I want to try and find it, but it's like about, I think it's from Rumi, about a flower. And I don't
that.
know, but it's gonna drive me crazy. But something about like, if God were anything, it'd be like made into a flower. But like these things are these subtle reminders of, oh right, it is that beautiful. All right, it is that easeful. All right, like life gets to be this. You know,
Mhm.
it's like it all becomes a mirror of our reflection. And something I was listening to from a spiritual advisor that I have, he was talking about how when we first, you know, we call it a flower, but how did it even get its name? And it got its name because when we first had an experience, we were like descendant from God, right? Into this wonderland. And then we were feeling something about that thing. Like we were feeling connected to this flower. And we're like, bro, whatever, you know, like, and we had like this light language kind of coming in. But that's how it all got its name, is because we were so directly connected to
Mm.
creation, to God, to source. So it's like, yes, if you light that incense and have abundance connected to it, I'm feeling like you're feeling yourself lighting that, and you're tunneling, like you were speaking earlier, tunnel visioning into that as a portal of manifestation, as a portal of creation. So yes, flowers can lead you to more abundance. And yes, that incense, and yes, the self-care, all of those steps that sound so delicious in your day, are you anchoring in that classy, sassy, high standard manifesting queen energy, right?
Yes. Oh, I love watching you talk. You're just so great on camera with I love watching you talk, and your emotion just shines through. You're like so beautiful. I love you. Thank you for having me today. I'm so grateful to be here for real.
You're absolutely beautiful too.
Oh, thank
Okay, to bring it all together, I want you, if you could, take us through a step by step. Let's manifest a Rolex. Okay, let's bring our people into this
you.
space. Can you
Okay.
help? All right, take us through it. And this is going to be the class.
Okay, so let's see. So you want a Rolex? Okay. This is how we're gonna get a Rolex. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so you pick out the Rolex that you want, and
Go in person or online, or does it matter?
I don't think it matters. I don't think I went, actually I did go in person once to look at a Rolex, but before that I would just save them to my phone.
Okay.
Um,
Do you need to remember the name of it, or does that not matter?
No, it doesn't matter. I don't even know the name of my Rolexes. And so you would pick out the Rolex you want, pick out the color, pick out what it looks like, how it feels, right? You could go try it on. I think trying them on does have a very important quality to it. And let's see, I think even looking at the price could be powerful too, to kind of assign that number to, the value of it or whatever. And then I think most importantly, once you declare that this is what you want, the Rolex on your, all gold, white face, Roman numerals. I think mine's the date, presidential, I think. So you would really feel it, look at it, bring it in, feel the frequency of it, and like feel it on your wrist, put it in your jewelry box or in your safe or whatever, wherever you want to keep it,
Like
and leave it there.
Like imagine, like go open my safe and put
Yeah,
it in.
imagine you, putting it in there. Imagine looking at it in your jewelry box, like getting ready for the night and putting it on your wrist with your like the most perfect, beautiful outfit. Imagine what you would wear it with, how you would pair it, and really just imagine how it feels on your wrist. When you're driving, like look at it on your arm. When you're at the pool, the luxury 5-star resort, on the beach in your resort wear with your outfit, like just really feel it, feel into it. And then I think the most important thing is, after you really declare that and feel it, I think we get to just imagine all of that, absorb it, release it, and have fun and really expose ourselves into these luxurious environments and normalize it. Like, it's really not a big deal. It's just a watch. It's just, a bag. It's just a whatever it is. It's normal. And when we're in these like beautiful, luxurious environments, like everyone has one, everyone has it, just like the oxygen that we breathe. Everyone, it's like nothing, right? So normalize it. It's not a big deal, and release it, and then have fun. You don't even have to declare it every day. You don't have to think about it ever again. You sent out that signal and it's done. You ordered it off the menu. We got into our truck. We said where we were going, right? And then we got there and it was done. We ordered our oysters and they were delivered. It's done. You don't have to, like, I don't believe that manifestation is this thing that we affirm every moment and every day, and we have to look at our vision boards every day. I believe that, like, the second that we put that signal and broadcast that signal, it's so clear and it's done. So that's my technique. And really get into that trust and surrender, like that relaxed knowing it's done, it's happening. And
Okay. So
Mhm.
it sounds like like we just did that. Like we just did the manifestation. Like I imagine putting it in my safe. I drove around with it. And so now it's just kind of like, now go do things. And then, and are we still imagining it, or we're just kind of like, it's already here,
It's already done. You don't have to think about it every day. You don't have to remind yourself. I think the best thing you can do is just go about your life. Like, even forget that you even did that almost, and just go about your day.
Mm.
Go about your life, and it's going to appear, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah.
Do you think, like, so if we were to give them now, they did this. Okay, so you just walked us through that. Is there something now that doesn't relate directly to the Rolex, but that could just feel good that you would suggest us do now? Maybe it's go use like pool pass or something, like go to the pool. Like, is there something?
Yeah, I think those are really good things to do, to just immerse yourself in those beautiful, luxurious environments where it becomes normal. Because if you are viewing it as this big deal, as this, um, separating it from you, putting it on that pedestal to
Mm,
where it's separate from you.
mm,
It seems more out of reach that way, and it can create, some resistance. Um, so the more that you normalize it, the more that you know it's already done, the more you get into that relaxed knowing. And also go into those environments. Like, I really believe in the law of exposure. I believe, once you fly first class, like, you can't go back to economy. So, like, getting into that normal state of luxury and fine dining and beautiful environments makes it more normalized instead of like that pedestal versus a pedestal and separate. It becomes that normalized part of you.
mhm.
So that's my
Love
techniques.
this.
I
Okay.
have more techniques like on my Instagram and stuff. I have the 2-cup method. I have a lot of different techniques that I can walk, people through too. But I think like generally that's like powerful just to know that you broadcasted that signal and it's super clear and it's done.
I love this. This was a really wonderful. I'm wanting to go back and listen to that again because it was just such a perfect meditation and like a walkthrough. And you really took us through exactly how to have it. And I feel it in my body. And I love that. I love that. I love that. Where can people find you? And we'll put all of your information in the show notes just so that they know where's just the best place to get in touch with you to see your offerings.
So I'm on Instagram, which is at Destiny Shekinah, which is DESTINYSHEKINAH. And I have my website, www.destinyshekinah.com. I'm on TikTok briefly and YouTube also. And it's all Destiny Shekinah, so.
Just Google search and you'll find her.
Yeah.
I love it. So now, and then we're leaving everyone with this homework assignment, this home play, because it's fun, is to go do that one thing that anchors in just this next level for you, that raising of your standards, whether that's a music, like a musical act, a show, whether that's a dinner experience, whether that's going to the lobby of, the 5-star hotel you've been wanting to stay in and getting a coffee, maybe it's going and looking at that $8 million home and eating their cookies, whatever. Like, this is your assignment, is to go try on that watch, to go do the thing, to go on, and it doesn't mean that you have to go necessarily splurge and spend all, no, like just be in that environment and allow yourself to calibrate to it, go into that store you've been afraid to go in, and start to normalize it. So thank you for that home play assignment. Everyone go run, don't walk, run to Destiny's sites and Instagram and say that you heard her from Divine Dose. We thank you so much for coming on today, because this is where breakthroughs are made. This is where things that could have like crushed someone could now become their message. And we want to thank you so much for coming
Mm.
on
Thank
today.
you, Rachel. This was so lovely. I really, really am so appreciative of having me. It was so lovely to see your face again. And I just want to leave them off with one more thing, that wealth is really like only what we value. So I think that was super important to remember that, that's what wealth is, what we value and what we desire. So.
Uh, I love that. I'm like, I want to keep talking to you forever. Oh my gosh, everyone, you've been listening to Divine Dose, where we get high on truth and not BS. Remember, stay dose, stay divine, and don't settle for fine. We love you.
Ah.
All right, I'm just